You were at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patients want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Patient Bear Beta, who says, rant about your absolute worst concert experience. What were the factors that played into making it so bad? So I know I've told this story multiple times before. I know at least one was in a Digibros Let's Play. I thought for sure it had its own video, but I couldn't find it. So we're finally going to give it its own video. The worst concert I ever went to was Dragon Force in, I think, 2008. So we'll give you the full rundown of this story. I had gotten into Dragon Force in probably 2006, around the time that their third album had come out, the one with Through the Fire and Flames on it. I can't remember what it was called. But I saw them live for the first time at Ozfest not too long after getting into the album. And I had listened to all three of their albums, but I wasn't as into the first two, besides the opening track on Valley of the Damned, the title track, as it were. And my brother Victor was a huge fan of all their music, particularly Valley of the Damned. He would listen to it all the time. It was his favorite music. So one year at Ozfest, they were opening the main stage, which means they play at like 3 p.m. or so, in the daytime. And they gave a great performance. Everybody was playing accurately. They were jumping on trampolines. They looked like they were having a fucking blast. It was really cool. We were into it. They probably played like 6 or 7 songs, since their songs are long as shit, and they were the opening act. But it was a pretty good show. So we were like, Dragon Force is fucking cool, right? And we ended up meeting both guitarists, because they were just wandering around in this place, because we were seeing them at an amphitheater. So there's like, little concession areas. There's multiple stages, and we just kind of run into them, and they're rambling barely coherently, drunk, and in whatever accents they have, because all the members of Dragon Force are from different countries, and they were asking us about whether or not they should fuck these Catholic girls. They were like, oh, there's these Catholic girls who are really hot, but we're not sure if they'll fuck. But then there's these other girls who aren't as hot, who will definitely fuck. What should we do? They were just they weren't even really asking for advice. They were just going on and on. They were just like being a weird comedy duo to whoever they ran into. We later ran into them again on the way out of Slipknot, the headliner, and they were telling us that they fucked the Catholic girls and they were terrible. So that's the story we heard, right? So this is kind of magical. We met the Dragon Force guys. They were funny. We saw them play. We got their autographs. There was like an autograph line. Victor just kind of pointed at them and went, Dragon Force! That was hilarious. Good times. Well, probably like 6 months later, around the time when Ultra Beatdown was coming out, or whenever that was, whenever Ultra Beatdown came out, their 4th album, they toured for that with Cynic opening. And we went to see it at the Norva, which is a great fucking venue in Virginia, in Norfolk. And Cynic was awesome. I immediately looked into them, got into some of their later music. Dragon Force was abysmal, and it seemed like everyone in the band was on drugs, different drugs from one another. The singer just seemed like he was shit-faced, and he is acting like a total dick. He's throwing water all over the crowd constantly, spewing water, just generally like... he had like a weird asshole expression on his face the whole show. The keyboardist is going completely fucking apeshit. He's definitely on something. He is on cloud 9. He is going ham. He's got one of those weird machines where you like put your hands in front of it and it makes sounds based on the position of your hands, and he's having a fucking ball with that. The drummer, who looks shit-faced, is just playing blast beats nonstop with no sense of timing. He sounds like fuck. Everybody's off time with each other. Everything sounds like a complete clusterfuck. The guitars are not even playing like the right solos at the right times, like on the right songs at times. It just sounded like fuck, and they seemed like a bunch of douchebags. And it was also a really weird crowd, because the crowd, this was like post Guitar Hero 3, I think, and the crowd is a bunch of nerds. Like, I'm used to going to metal shows where it's, a bunch of fucking dudes in black beating the shit out of each other in a mosh pit. Dragon Force is just a bunch of nerds who don't look like they've ever moshed in their life. I think there might have been some kind of pit up close to the stage, but not really. Most people were just kind of confused, and it sounded like ass. And Victor, who was having like these intense stomach pains, which used to happen to him all the time, especially if we went to shows. Like the bass would just reverberate, he'd be in pain. So he's like gone off to sit on like the side where he can't even see because he's in so much fucking gut pain. You know, he doesn't even get to see like some of the best songs that we were excited about. Just overall, I thought the performance sucked ass, and it really soured me on Dragon Force forever. I like have not been able to listen to them the same way. I removed all their albums from my computer when I got home. I mean, nothing of value was really lost. Let's be honest. I'd already kind of gotten into Galnerius, and I was like, oh fuck Dragon Force. I'll just listen to Galnerius. They're good. So yeah, that was definitely the worst live show I've ever been to. It was it was embarrassing. I mean, other than that, I guess I would have to give it to some live shows that I just happened to be at. You know, like not Dimmu Borgir, Cradle of Filth. There was a show where Satyricon was opening for Cradle of Filth. My mom's a huge Satyricon fan, so we went to see Satyricon, and this was once again at the Norva, and they have this like upstairs area where you can just kind of chill. So we had just kind of gone up there during Cradle of Filth's set, and it was so awful. It's just screeching abomination. The lead singer Danny Filth is wearing like this ridiculous like Final Fantasy armor set, like this like insanely gaudy costume that makes it look like he weighs 1,000 pounds and can barely move. And they have like this kind of walkway around the stage that he's just kind of like walking up and down this weird structure while everybody else is playing their instruments. And it just sounds like a clusterfuck because their music is fucking terrible and he's just screeching over all of it. It was bad and we walked out. So that's probably the only concert I've ever just left during the headlining act of. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Those are my worst concert experiences.